Okay, anyway, continue where we left off yesterday. We're learning about Erev Yom Kippur. Okay, so we spoke about Kapodis. Then you have at Shachris, during Shachris. So we don't say Mizmal Soida, Erev Yom Kippur, or we don't say it either on Pesach, Erev Pesach, because we say Mizmal Soida in the morning is for corresponding with the Korban Torah Thanksgiving offering somebody brought. And the Korban Torah had 12 breads with it that were chametz. So you couldn't bring it Erev Pesach, and you couldn't bring it during Pesach because there were chametz. You couldn't bring it. The din is when you bring a korban, like the Korban Torah was eaten for a day and a night, the din was if you don't have the full time that the Torah allows you to eat the korban, you can't bring the korban that day. So you can't bring a Korban Torah Erev Yom Kippur in the morning because you can't eat it the night of Yom Kippur. And the din is if you can't eat it the night of Yom Kippur, then you just don't bring the korban out. That's why we don't bring it on Shabbos. It's say the Mizmal Seder Shabbos and Yom Tov also. So we don't say Mizmal Seder. We leave out Tachnun, Erev Yom Kippur. The Mincha before Erev Yom Kippur, the Mincha before Erev Rosh Hashanah, we say Tachnun. But Erev Rosh Hashanah, in the morning, Erev Yom Kippur, in the morning, there's no Tachnun. So our custom is if there's no Tachnun, there's no Avinu Malkeinu either. So we don't say Avinu Malkeinu Erev Yom Kippur. Now, after davening, generally speaking, there's a minute to eat for 2 days on Erev Yom Kippur. Why? Because the Torah says, the Gemara asks a contradiction between two psukim. One pasuk says, "B'tisha b'chedesh ba'erev me'erev ad erev tishbushu shabbatchem." One pasuk in Chumash says, on the 9th day, from evening to evening, you have to fast. And then we know Yom Kippur is on the 10th. So the question is, we don't fast on the 9th. Why does the Torah say we fast on the 9th? So the Gemara learns from there that the Torah says like this: by eating on the 9th, Hashem considers it as if you fasted on the 9th. Because obviously the reward for fasting is greater than the reward for eating, because it's harder. So Hashem says by eating on the 9th day of Tishrei, it's considered as if you actually fasted on the 9th day of Tishrei. So therefore there's a minhag like this. Erev Yom Kippur, the custom is you have 2 meals, 2 proper like Shabbos meals. In the morning, late morning, whenever it is, you wash, you dip the challah in honey. You don't need lechem mishra, you don't need 2 challahs, but you wash, you have fish, you have whatever soup, like you would on a regular Shabbos. Then you daven mincha early, Erev Yom Kippur, and we'll discuss the mincha in a second, and then a little bit before the fast, you have what's called Suda Mafsekes. So then you wash again with challah and honey, and over there you don't eat fish. It says in halacha you don't eat fish because it makes you thirsty and other reasons. But you eat a proper meal again before the fast. But again you wash for the first meal, you wash for the second meal. Both times you dip the challah in honey, and so on and so forth like that. Now Mincha Erev Yom Kippur is, we say vidui. We say vidui. Confession. We say the halachos, all the halachos at Mincha Erev Yom Kippur. Now it says in halacha, interesting thing. Why do we say vidui Erev Yom Kippur to Mincha? Really, you should say vidui when Yom Kippur starts. You should do a Shabbat Bagano. Halachos and all that. It says in Shulchan Aruch, the Chachamim were afraid, God forbid, somebody may choke at Suda Mafsekes, and he won't make it. And then he didn't, came into Yom Kippur without vidui. So what they do is you say vidui at Mincha. There's also a minhag that privately, right before Kol Nidrei, people say, that's our minhag also, we say the whole al-chet again privately, just by ourselves. Before Kol Nidrei, we say vidui, and then besides additional times we do it in Mincha. So Erev Yom Kippur Mincha, it says you're supposed to give a lot of tzedakah. In fact, in many places in minhag they have coins, because Baal Shem Tov said the noise of the coins pushes away the evil forces. So that's what it says. So, but it's okay. You can give $100 bills and the push could be fine. So after Mincha, in the repetition, obviously the Chazan doesn't do the Chet, only in the original, the required Shemon Esrei. It's also customary that you have Erev Yom Kippur. It's very important to go to the mikveh, at least once, Erev Yom Kippur. It's brought down in halacha, whether it's Teshuvah, Gerus, whatever the reasons are. So at least important to go one time Erev Yom Kippur. Many people, like our minhag, we go 3 times Erev Yom Kippur. One in the morning before Kaparis or Shachris, one before Mincha, and one we go again after Suda Mafsekes. Right before Yom Kippur, we go again to the mikveh. So we go 3 times. Erev Yom Kippur, once at least, you really need a kosher mikveh.
If you go only once,
you should go before Mincha. Yeah. Now it's also customary to have, you get Malchus, lashes Erev Yom Kippur, and then you have lashes, and then the mikveh, and then Mincha, and so on and so forth.
Historically, the lashes were also so symbolic as in now.
No, the lashes in the time of the Bais Din was not symbolic. Those hurt. In fact, the din was that before, if somebody was obligated to eat, to get malchus, but they were warned, let's say a negative command, I'll give you a simple example, to eat, if somebody ate chazer, okay, and they were warned by 2 witnesses, and the guy immediately ate the chazer, and he ate a kazayas, they would get 39 lashes. But the way the Gemara was a thick leather strap, like remember in Singapore years ago, they were giving people lashes, and the whole world was making a commotion about it. But the bottom line is that not only that, a doctor had to evaluate, a Bais Din's doctor evaluated the person how many malchus he can get. So if let's say somebody, and it was always in numbers of 3, divisions of 3. So let's say they said a person instead of 39, let's say he can get 20 lashes. So we give him 18. They were not allowed to go extra. And if by mistake the Bais Din was supposed to give him 18 and they gave him 19 and the guy died, the guy that gave the malchus would be a lot of hot water from it. So it was a malchus. Today is symbolic. You face north, you go down on all 4 and they go, that's it.
Since when did you got so symbolic?
You want people to give you the real ones? It's meaningful because the person's considered as if they're getting malchus. Yeah. They don't do it on Yom Tov. They do it before Yom Tov. Erev Yom Kippur, before Yom Kippur. No, a strap, a belt is not muktzah. No. They didn't use a whip. They used the hide of an animal. Okay. Okay. Now, some people wear big day Shabbos before Mincha. You give Mincha. Okay. You confess the vidui. Suda Mafsakis again. You dip like even by Suda Mafsakis it says in halacha you shouldn't eat heavy foods because it's difficult for the fast. You eat chicken and you don't eat fish and so on like that. Okay. Now, when it comes to it's also a minhag, by the way. Many people do it out of Shabbos, but the father blesses the children. So many people do it every out of Shabbos before candle lighting. But at least on Yom Kippur, Erev Yom Kippur, there's a minhag, official minhag, that the father gives a bracha to the children. Puts the hand on their heads and gives them a bracha, whatever he wants, and that's what they do. Okay. Some people do it before Kiddush, some people do it, there's a lot of different customs. Some people do it before Kiddush, some people do it after Kiddush, whatever the custom is. Okay, next. Okay, let's get into the night of Yom Kippur. Okay, so first of all, Yom Kippur night, we wear a talis. Okay, and those that wear kittul also, like we learned. Now, you're not allowed to make a bracha on a talis at night. So after Shkia, really you're not allowed to make a bracha on a talis because it might be night already. So with Kol Nidre, when you put on the talis, you have to make sure that you put it on before Shkia. And then you're able to make a bracha. But if it's after Shkia already, you're not allowed to make a bracha when you put on the talis because it might be night and then it will be a bracha levatol. So people wear a kittel. The reason why we wear a kittel is to remind us of Big Day Mesim. Says in halacha. The shrouds that they put us in, the tachrichim. So when you wear a white kittel, it reminds us that after 120 years they're going to put us in those white kittels. So, or else it's to be likened to malachim and things like that. Okay, so then you have, and by the way, it's another interesting custom we have. Let's say a chatan got married that year. Within the year, since last Yom Kippur, he doesn't wear a kittel the first Yom Kippur. Because he already wore it at his Yom Kippur, which is the day of the wedding. For a chatan is the day of the wedding. So then he wouldn't wear it the first year on Yom Kippur. The other years he starts wearing it. Okay, now you put on the talis. Okay, vidu, we said before, you say vidu before Yom Kippur. Okay, now you also say the 9 kapitel of Tilim, but we'll discuss that closer to the time. Okay, now you take out 3 Sefer Teiros. If you start to think for a minute, we'll discuss it tonight a little bit and continue more. Everybody makes a big thing about Kol Nidre, right? Everybody runs to show Kol Nidre. If you look at the tefillah of Kol Nidre, basically, you know what you're saying in Kol Nidre? Any neder, any isore that we made should be null and void. Any thing that I'm going to make should be null and void. That's the whole thing. Now basically saying any vows I made, any vows I won't make should be null and void. That's the whole, by the world, that's the big thing of Yom Kippur. But that's not really what Kol Nidre is really all about. Before Kol Nidre, I don't know if the Sfardim do this, but you take out 3 Sefer Teiros, at least 3 Sefer Teiros. So now you have a Bais Din. You have a Vaad Din of 3 people. And the Chazan says not loud. The Chazan says only loud enough that the 3 people next to him should hear it. And he said, B'yeshiva shomaylo, b'yeshiva shomato, anu matirim lehispalel imo avrayonim. We are permitting people to daven with the sinners. By the way, the picture went off in this one. It's okay. We're now permitted to daven with the sinners. Because the Gemara says, any fast day that the sinners are not part of, Hashem doesn't accept. So Kol Nidre, and that's really what the whole essence of Yom Kippur to be discussed. Okay, it's late. That the real essence of Yom Kippur is that we are allowing, with this Bais Din, Yeshiva Shomata, and therefore Yeshiva Shomayla, we're allowing to daven with the sinners because Hashem wants every Jew on Yom Kippur to be with us.